My biggest scrapbooking sin that I commit all the time is purchasing brand new collections and then just sort of like displaying them in my scrapbook room to admire for a while, and I don't jump into using them right away. By the time I do get around to using them, they're considered quote unquote older, which is silly, right? They're just pattern papers and beautiful stickers. They never age. But today I'm going to play with one of these quote unquote older collections. This is the Paige Evans Garden Shoppe collection, and I purchased it last year in the fall when it was brand new during SBC Fest. They had a great deal on a bundle for that collection, and it may have been the spring actually, but it's beautiful. It has a fall theme to it, but the patterns are so versatile that you can use them all year round. In fact, the photos that I'm using this collection with today were not taken in the fall. They were taken in June in the summertime. So it's the beautiful florals work with lots of different things, and I thought they would be perfect for these photos of me and my son walking the grounds of a church after we had lunch one day. So these photos are a bit cloudy looking. It looks like ethereal or misty, but guess what? It's another scrapbook sin that I commit, and that is not wiping off my lens before taking the pictures. So that's why they look that way. Let this be a friendly reminder to you to always wipe off the lens of your cell phone before you snap some pictures. And since then, I've gotten a little better about it. Now you can see that I flipped through the supplies and I've started to pick out some papers to go together on this layout. I'm using the Simple Stories Peacock cardstock for my background, and then I'm using this paper with the ombre, almost like a coral to pink ombre on it. I'm mixing in the periwinkle polka dot paper, the stripe, and then I was trying to choose between two floral papers. There's one that has sunflowers in it, and then there's this one with the pink. I think they're peonies, something like that. I purely went off of color. I thought that this floral looked better with the background paper, and I like that it really lets the photos kind of pop out. Now, these photos do have a little bit of yellow or orange in the leaves, and so it does tie back into those autumn colors a little bit, and I think that's why it works so well with this collection. Now, the idea was to have some band of pattern paper across the center anchoring my three photos, and then I'm going to add in 3 of these die cut hearts. These heart dies are by Echo Park Paper. They're no longer available. I actually purchased these off of eBay, but hopefully you can find them if you like the shape and the stitching details. So the paper that I'm going to use to cut out these 3 hearts is this green plaid. I like that it ties back in with the green foliage in the photos. So I'm going to go ahead and die cut those, and I'm actually going to use these 3 hearts as a base for the 3 clusters that I'm going to build on my layout. I don't really have a plan past this, and so I'm just going to push around some elements and just play with the supplies. The first thing I do when I get a paper pad is I take out the papers that are considered like cut aparts. So I have the cut apart cards. I took out this pattern paper that had the letter boards on it because I figured I would cut those out and use those as embellishments. And then there's some other papers, like I believe there's a paper with phrases all across it that I use later. And so I will separate those out and put those with the embellishments because that's how I think of them. I think of them as embellishments. From there, I will just use the tonal papers mostly, and then I'll pull in a couple of, brighter personality, colorful papers. And that's what I've done here with the floral and the stripe. Now, I'm starting to build these clusters. I've used some circle dies by Hip Kit Club to cut out that kindness grows here circle. I thought I might kind of use that as my title, but it just ends up being a subtitle or an embellishment. Now, I want to add lots of florals in each of these clusters, and as I'm flipping through the floral ephemera, I was thinking that I would pull out these white daisies and these yellow flowers to tie back in with that white circle. The size of the white flowers seemed a little odd to me, or they seemed a little too, I don't know, like attention grabbing. I wanted something more subtle, and so I decided to fussy cut out these sunflowers from the pattern paper and try those. Now, as I start placing these on the page, I realized that they are too big. I tried to use the ones that I cut off of the edge of the paper and kind of tuck them along the sides, but they're just kind of too big overall. They overpower the smaller hearts. And also, I like that they repeat the yellow color of the yellow leaf at the bottom of the page, but I also was missing that brightness of the white that I had earlier in those white flowers. So here I'm just trying them on for a minute, but I eventually go back to the cardstock sticker sheet and choose some floral pieces from that. I don't know why I didn't check there first before spending the time fussy cutting out all of those papers, all those flowers, but that's okay. Yeah, I'll just use them on another layout, so it works out great. So I do find a few flower clusters on that 6x12 cardstock sticker sheet, and I will start building my clusters from there. Now, because I have words or phrases in the bottom 2 clusters, I'm going to add some word strips in the top cluster just to repeat the similar elements in each of these embellishment clusters, just to play off that visual triangle and so that they all tie in with one another. So I'll spend some time doing that. On this sticker sheet, there are also these really cute button stickers, and I will try to add those around the page as well. So what are some scrapbooking sins that you commit? I know that's kind of a crazy question, right? I don't know. I tend to do that. I don't know if you do the same thing, but that's one of the reasons I like to make YouTube videos, is because I think we all have cupboards full of beautiful supplies that we need help using. And it's great to see inspiration. Sometimes just even watching a scrapbooking process video makes us feel like we're creating. So even though we may not copy those ideas or glean this brilliant new concept from a scrapbook video, a scrapbook process video will make us feel like, put us in the mood to create. And so that's why I like making them. That's also why I like watching them. Okay, so I did create my title there. As you saw, I used a Echo Park die that's called Magic and Wonder Alphabet. It was one of the dies that coordinated with one of their Disney collections from years and years ago, but I love the font and I use it all the time. Oftentimes when I don't have a shadow layer for my alphabet dies, I will cut them out again in another color cardstock and offset them so it appears as though they have a shadow, and I feel like that helps those letters to stand out. I also always use foam tape to add my title to my page if it's not already dimensional, and that also gives it a lot of impact. So I went back to the cardstock stickers again. I added that vase of flowers to the right of my son's photo along with the little bee, and now I'm coming back with the ephemera die cuts and looking through to see if there's some other things that I might add. I found this little banner piece that I will use to add the date to the top of the page, and then I believe I added in the bicycle. You saw that. And now I'm going to add in some more of those little button stickers and just finish off the page. Next up is my journaling. I left some room in that upper right hand corner to do that. I like to create my journaling on my computer because I can type in a smaller font and fit more of the story in a small area. So these are some word strips that I created on my computer using the Prestige Elite font. And then I use that, you saw that die that had all the lines on it. It's a sentiment strip die by Hero Arts. I think it's meant for card makers, but I use it to create my journaling strips. It comes in really handy. You can see that I always print off 2 pieces of my journaling. That way I can, if I mess up die cutting it, I have another one to die cut. But also as I'm adhering those strips in order, I can look over to the other printout and make sure that I am getting them in order as I glue them down. So I did add in a few more buttons all around the page just to tie in those clusters and repeat elements in each of those clusters. And then I went back to the sticker sheet and I saw that cute lime green rickrack border sticker. I decided to tuck that in at the bottom. And then I'm going back to one of the cut apart papers. I mentioned this one earlier with all of the phrases on it. I'm just going to add this white phrase underneath the title. I think it underlines it and kind of finishes that part of the page off. It was a little too thick, so I just, trimmed it down with my long scissors. Long scissors are great. Like they're great for cuts like that because you can make one smooth cut. Okay, so I'm stamping the date at the top with some Felicity Jane stamps, date stamps, and then I'm going back into my stash and finding some of these old I believe these are by Freckled Fawn. They are some acrylic hearts. They have little candy stripes on them. They're really, really cute. I've passed by them over and over in my collection. And earlier you may have noticed that I tried the copper hearts from the sticker sheet, and they didn't quite work color-wise, but they made me think of these candy stripe hearts that I had in my stash. And I thought, you know what? Today's the day. We're going to put these on this page and get them used. Now, I have a couple of different textures with the flat stickers and the acrylic hearts, but I wanted to add a little bit more softness. So I just tied a piece of twine, some thin twine, that's just some thin crochet twine that you get at Joann's, on one of the letters, just to add some softness and another texture that also ties back into the stitching that I have around the edge of the page. All right, you guys, this is the Paige Evans Garden Shoppe collection. I purchased this in a bundle at scrapbook.com. It's still available, so I will link that below in case you're interested. Thanks so much for coming by my channel today. I hope you'll subscribe if you like what you see, and let's hang out again soon. Bye for now.